Hey, it's Todd Welsh with SalinaHomes.com, and we are here for community leaders. And today in the room, I have Renee Duxler and John Gunn with me today. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to talk about, today's topic is the Charlie Walker Pitch Challenge. And that's the goal today, is we're going to find all about everything we need to know about the Pitch Challenge. And I think we'll start off right away with, let's start out with John, because John was the creator of the Pitch Challenge with Charlie Walker. And John, how did that come about, or how did you even think about this? Where's that come from?
Well, I wasn't actually the creator. I stole the concept from a program out at Fort Hays they do called the Faulkner Challenge.
Nice. I'm okay with stealing. That's okay. You don't have to be. I knew you couldn't have come up with this on your own. So this all makes total sense now.
I tried and tried. but I subsequently found out that these are done all over the state, and there's a software package written for people to submit their business plans and to be graded and all that stuff. So
I think we'll get into that a little bit more of what it actually is. I just want to commend you on not only coming up with the idea for Salina, but I can't think of a better person to attach the name to. It was Charlie Walker, and we were talking earlier that both you and I knew Charlie really well. And I think I was the MC for last year, and I didn't
know Charlie.
Oh, you didn't know Charlie?
I knew who he was, but I didn't know him.
Oh, I thought you knew him. Oh, okay. No. Well, then I'm the only one at the table who's had dinner or lunch with Charlie Walker. Then that makes me feel very special. So why did you choose Charlie then? That even makes a better concept then. Where did Charlie Walker come from?
Well, I mean the Walker family is very prominent here in town, but the story of Charlie Walker, I don't even think he finished 8th grade, and he started out selling candy and I think cigarettes and on a route, and then went into baby furniture, and then came up with the idea to build truck washes, and was able to put together a team that could build these truck washes, operate them, scale them, do all that. And I just thought that was amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think the story of it is even deeper. Is he developed a nozzle, and then he had like a mobile unit where he would go out first and wash the trucks and wash cars or whatever, and then he developed it into a truck wash. Is the story that I remember.
Yeah,
but
no,
but who would have thought of that?
Yeah.
Right.
Or invested in it?
Yeah. And again, you're correct on their 8th grade education. And basically, the thing I love about it is, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, is take somebody with an 8th grade education, hard work, get it all done, and then put that together, and probably one of the most successful businesses in our community right now that did that. So, again, what a great name to put with that.
Yeah, but lots of people come up with good ideas and concepts, but few are able to actually make it happen and scale it to this size, where there's over 100 truck washes, and they have hotels and car washes and all that. That takes just a lot of talent.
Yeah.
To do that.
So I knew Charlie from when I worked at Anderson Leather. He would come in and buy all of his boots and stuff from me. That's how I first got antiquated with Charlie Walker. Was I would sell him his boots and leather coats and blazers and shirts. He would come in and buy like 3 or 4 shirts at a time. And I would like to say he was if you were a good salesman, you could sell him about 4 shirts at a time, and he would take them every time, and it worked out great. So I always made my quota when Charlie Walker walked in at Anderson Leather. So it worked out great. And then him and I became friends over the years when he was at Blue Beacon. I would do a little bit of real estate there, and then he opened up another company. I was helped to transfer some of those people into our community. So I got to spend some good time with Charlie, and great gentleman. So that'll spin us a little bit into the Charlie Walker Pitch Challenge, which, Renee, tell us a little bit about that, of when that's coming up, or like what somebody would do, or if they're thinking about starting a business? Like, is this just for people starting a business, or can you actually own a business and qualify for this grant?
You can actually own a business currently. And I do want to just say real quick that John does not take enough credit for how much he kind of was able to get this up and running. So I do want to point that out very quickly, that John really was the brainchild behind this. The idea of the pitch challenge is a concept that's out there, but John really brought this forward and helped us last year, in the first year that we did this, sort of do that fundraising and that capital, raising to be able to give out the cash prizes. And he continues to kind of be our weapon in that manner. And so we were able to do this for a second year because John has those relationships in the community and is able to do that. So I do want to give him more credit than he's willing to give himself for that. But yeah, John came to us last year with the idea of doing a pitch challenge in the community, and it is for startups. So anybody who has just an idea of a business, but we also open it to what we call young businesses. So 3 years in operation or less. So if you're a young business in the community and you've just kind of gotten started, we also want to support what you're doing as well. And this is something that right now it is an application we use called Venture Dash, and you can get online and submit a business plan and a video. And that sort of is the first round of the competition. And we'll definitely share all of that URL code and everything for people to access that. But you get on, you submit your business plan and a short video, just sort of introducing yourself and your business. And then we go online after that deadline, which is March 10th. And we judge those. We've got community judges who are all lined up to get online and do that. And the people who are the top 10 score earners, we will reach out to them because they'll be able to participate in the live pitch challenge. And that will be Friday, March 24th at Kansas Wesleyan University, starting at 6 o'clock. And it is the opportunity, if people have seen Shark Tank, that sort of getting in front of a panel of judges, having 5 minutes to pitch your business, to tell the story of your business and why you think you should, win this cash prize, or why you should be invested in, really. And the judges get a little bit of opportunity after that 5 minutes to ask questions, but then they will rate you, score you on the spot. And once we get through everybody's pitch, we'll tabulate those scores and we'll know who our top score earners are.
Okay. So now that was like taking a drink from the fire hose,
right?
So now,
a lot of information.
Now that whoever was watching this will know what it's basically about. So that was some good context of what in there. So let's go all the way back now.
Absolutely.
Okay? So what I heard you say was that the business had to be 3 years or less.
Yes.
So it could be a startup, it could be 1 year, 2 year, but no more than 3 years.
No more than
they
3
don't
years
even
in
qualify.
operation. Yep.
Okay. So if they start that, then you said something about going on to do they need to fill out an application first or actually do the video, or is that simultaneously?
That's kind of simultaneous. So they'll get on to this website and they essentially register on the website, and they'll just fill out basic information.
And what's that website so we can do that?
So it's goventuredash.com, and then it's /competitions/416. So we'll share that information out. It's on the Chamber of Commerce website. We'll definitely have it for that, because it is a mouthful.
I think what we do is we find somebody that can do the CharlieWalkerPitchChallenge.com, and we direct that to
we definitely do need to purchase a domain at this point. So it is a mouthful, but once you get on there, you register, you fill out basic information, name, business name, and then there's an ability to upload a business plan. So, and we say up to 12 pages, but basically just explaining your business, some of the financial projections, those sorts of things, and then a place to upload I said 2, maybe 3 minute video, just introducing yourself, introducing your business. We're, encouraging people to be creative and passionate about what they do in the video so that comes across. And those are the first 2 things within the competition that will be scored.
Okay. So let's think about this real quick. Let's think about the video on it. How were the videos last year? And are some of them, mean, we're in a beautiful studio here today,
Right.
but are they doing it on their phone? Is they like what? Like for
Yeah.
somebody watching, if imagine that I'm 2 years into my company, I'd like to expand it. I need a little bit of cash flow coming in, and I'd like to do this challenge. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's my video really have to look like? I mean, is it a full blown 10 and that gets me in, or I could do like a 3, or what's that look like?
Yeah, really, the video, it can be on your phone, handheld, selfie mode, you just talk into the camera. It's really not about the quality of the video so much as just your personality and your business idea and the passion for your business or your business idea coming through on that video. So, quality of video isn't going to be as important as you just saying, here's why I think you should invest in me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say now I've 2 years in my business. I've now shot my video. I've went out on the website. I've got everything, and I've downloaded it to you. And then you have a committee. Is that
Right.
correct? Would
Yep.
we call it a committee?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
And there's how many people are on that? How many people are going to watch this video?
We are going to have, the way it's going to break down is we'll have at least 2 judges seeing each video because we're hoping we're going to have, lots of applications to choose from. So we're making sure that we have the number of people to at least get 2 pairs of eyeballs on each video and each business plan. So there's some objectivity there when scoring. And so depending on how many applications we get in, we may add more volunteer judges to this group just to make sure again that we have enough to judge the number of applications we get in.
Okay. How many applications did we get? We kind of got off on a short, like we didn't plan it or something happened last year. We didn't have enough. It may have been COVID. I don't even know what. Something happened, though, that we didn't get it off the ground and going.
We blame everything on COVID.
We blame everything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
totally. Thanks, COVID.
But I think we could have announced it sooner and given them more time because they were down to 30 days.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a success.
Short
I just
time
remember.
frame. Yeah, it was a very short, constricted time frame to sort of turn everything around. So I think we could have gotten more applications last year, and we are already seeing applications start to come in at a faster rate. I think we haven't exceeded what we got in last year, but we've hit that number to where by March 10th, I feel really confident that we'll have at least 20 to 30.
Yeah, and you'll narrow that down to how many for the pitch?
And then we'll narrow that down to 10.
10.
Yep.
Wow.
Exactly. So
That's pretty exciting.
So March 10th is that deadline for that first round, and then we're going to spend the weekend judging. So our judges will, and they can get online and do that. And that's what's great about this application we use. They can get online and do that. But then by Monday, we'll be able to reach out to everybody who applied to let them know whether they made the cut or not.
Cool.
And then those that made the cut get to start planning for their pitch and competing in the live pitch challenge.
Okay. So, John, are you going to be a judge again?
Yes.
You're a judge again? Okay. So what would you think from last year, if somebody's watching this video and they're going to do the pitch? What were the greats and the not so greats from? Can you give us a little bit of an insight on that? Or, I don't want to take away your secret of how you judge.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want any inside secrets here of how you judge, but what'd you notice last year?
They were all over the place. There were some that had done a great job on their video, had done a great job on their business plan. Some had not really understood how to do a business plan or what that meant. And
I mean, what about, so if they brought, like I remember last year, I think somebody actually, I can't remember who it was, but they brought in samples of what they actually had done. So
Right.
if they were going to bake something, they brought in some samples. I'm trying to think of everything that was going on. The one guy, remember, like put ketchup all over his face and spilled a bunch of stuff on there and, was kind of all over the place a little bit. But he was trying to be memorable, I guess. You know what I mean? To like
Right.
they do on Shark Tank. Like you said, it was a
Exactly.
great affirmation or a great thing that you said, like, it's kind of like Shark Tank.
It really is.
So imagine they're coming in giving their pitch. The one thing I was thinking about was, like perfecting their craft. When I watched what was going on, I thought, okay, they're competing for up to $16,000 total.
Right.
And they could get $7,500 for winning this. And what I saw was I just didn't think people had prepared themselves the best they could. Now, I know not everybody's a public speaker, and I know, but if you're going after $7,500 for your business, I mean, get in front of a mirror, get in front of a practice that. Like I was just sitting there going, how can we do that? And what I loved was Mitch, is it Mitch Robinson?
Robinson? Uh-huh.
Robinson,
Yeah.
okay. Called me and wanted to know, if I would come help them, because I've done some public speaking throughout my career.
Right.
And you guys are doing, tell me the first meeting they can come to. So we already had one, right?
Well, no, we've actually, so what we decided to do this year, because of the feedback we kind of got and from last year's thing, is to actually hold a workshop on how to pitch your business. And so that is what we're doing at the end of this month on the 28th, is how to pitch your business workshop. And this is specifically for the folks that are planning on competing in the Charlie Walker Pitch Challenge, but it's really open to anybody that's interested in participating. And we're holding it out at Kansas State University Salina with our business instructors out there that have helped us through a lot of our business training courses we provide. Anyway, this night specifically, we're going to have you there. We're going to have a number of other professionals. Some of last year's winners will be there to just talk about some of the basics of this is what you need to include. This is what you want to make sure you hit on. Some of the basics of public speaking, articulation, projection, those sorts of things. And then really work on being able to condense that into 5 minutes, which is definitely one of the harder things to do. Is you've got this passion, you've got this project, you could probably talk hours about it, and you've got to condense it down to 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm excited for it to go out there and give them a little bit of what my thought is, because again, after watching the pitch and then being an entrepreneur myself,
Sure.
I can't write a budget though. Like I've never written a business plan in my life.
Right.
But I could probably talk my way through, doing that to convince them to give me money. So I was trying to think of a business I could start so I could give a pitch.
So you could get in?
I could get in on the 7,500.
How about this one?
I know, it's like I could pay for the
go.
podcast.
That's right.
The video podcast room.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, we could get that done.
But I think people, if they watched any of the stuff from last year, should just better prepared. Don't be nervous. Answer the questions promptly. There were just a lot of nervous people.
Yeah. No, and that's what we're kind of hoping to do. The other thing we're hoping to do this year is allow people either that day before or sometime during that week into the space, so they kind of have that understanding of this is where you're going to be, this is how it's going to run, kind of do almost like a dress rehearsal of the nights, because I think that there was just a lot of questions about, what is the space going to look like? Where is the projection going to be, because they can have a slide deck, they can utilize. So we're hoping to do that this year too, so they can kind of have that opportunity to see the space and see what it's going to look like, so they don't go in cold with their pitch, not really even knowing. Which is
kind of what they did last year.
They really did.
If you think about what happened last year, it's like,
really
okay, it's the very first one. They didn't know what it was going to look like.
That's
what
right.
I don't even know that I knew what the format was when I walked in there. We kind of winged it.
We really did. We really did.
Like, you gave me a piece of paper and you're like, okay, go ahead. And I'm like, okay, well, how is this going to, whatever you want to do. So we kind of created it that day. So I think that's a great deal, is for them to be able to come in and kind of prepare. Because again, using your reference of Shark Tank, you kind of know what to expect on Shark Tank. You've watched it, you know how it's going to be, you know what you can use. You almost know the questions that are going to be asked.
Right.
One question I remember each time was, and Trace Walker, who is Charlie's son, I don't know, will he be a judge this year again?
I don't know who.
Yeah,
who's
I'm not
judging.
sure. We're still working out that judging panel.
Well, Trace was there last year, and one question always was, what would you do with the money? Like they in their pitch, they never really said. They just said, we're starting this company, do whatever. Right. And almost every one of them was the judges wanted to know specifically, if I handed you $7,500, what would you do next with it?
Right.
And I think you have to be prepared with some of those. And I watch so many people go, well, I think, and it's like have an answer. Right. It's like come up with the top 10 questions that you think they're going to most likely ask, and then be very well prepared. So, and then one thing I've always learned through my public speaking is when somebody asks you a question, you always say, that's a great question. And that does two things. You ready for hear this? This is like public speaking coming out.
All right, here we go.
Number one is it makes the person who asked you the question feel good about themselves. So you basically, when John asks me a question, I say, John, that's a great question. All of a sudden, John goes, well, it sure is, yeah. And then secondly, what it does is it gives you an extra probably 5 to 8 seconds to
Formulate.
formulate the answer to the question. So anytime anybody asks you, says, hey, they ask you a question, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And then
That's really
watch them
good.
light
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean? So
Dropping
it's a little-
knowledge
I
over
know,
here.
it's like little nuggets. Boom. You know?
Shoot, and I always thought it was like, because I had a good
No,
question.
it's not. Yeah.
As it turns out, John.
As it turns
Nope.
out, it was the stupidest question ever, but I just needed more time to try not to laugh, John.
Okay, I got it now. So,
Your secret is
Yeah,
out.
but now I hate to drop all that knowledge on them at that deal, because then well, the truth is what I was going to say was they're all going to sound the same then, or they're all going to do
Sure.
whichever.
Yeah.
But that's not true. You could tell 20 people and only 3 are going to remember to use that inside there. I mean, most of them are so scared.
Yep.
I mean, I think the barrier to get in, I wasn't even going to say this, but I think that the barrier to get in of creating a video probably stops half the people from even doing it.
Sure.
But when I thought about that, I went, okay, but if you're not even willing to get on camera and be so excited about your business to create a video to send it off to somebody, then you're probably not even ready to win the $7,500.
Right, right. I mean, we kind of know as entrepreneurs, you have to get uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it, right?
Yeah.
Taking those risks, getting uncomfortable. And so we are hoping that this is, and our last year's winners have actually said this. They've said, you know, even the process of preparing for this pitch challenge was really good for me and my business because it made me think about things. It made me, it was outside of my comfort zone and I survived that. And so now I feel like, you know, they gained a lot of confidence from it. So I think it is one of those things that it's a fun and sort of educational way to kind of help people push out of their, you know, sort of shells a little bit in order to, you know, do something that they're really passionate about. And I think if you can get in front of people and sell your business and sell yourself, that is a big part of being a business owner, right?
Yeah.
So.
And it made me think of something, and we're going to talk about the sponsors here in a minute. But I was with one of the sponsors the other day, which is JRI. I believe JRI is still a sponsor I saw on there. And Jason Ingermanson and I were together a couple of days ago, and we were looking at a project. And it's a big project. And we walked out, and he said, "Does it scare you?" And I said, "It kind of does." He goes, "Good, then it's worth doing."
Yep.
I mean, I thought that was
right?
amazing. Like just being around those people was like, and I just looked at him and I laughed and I went, God, it is worth doing then. Because if it didn't, he's like, if it didn't scare you, then it's not a big enough project for us. And I'm like, I'm frightened.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big project.
Okay.
It's a big project we're going to work on. So we'll see how that comes together. But let's talk a little bit about, because you helped raise the money and get everything to go on. So John, tell us a little bit about who helped and who the sponsors are.
Jason Ingermanson, JRI Hospitality is one, and Bennington State Bank.
Okay.
And it was just relationships that I had with them, and also made it a lot easier to have two do it than have 5 or 10 or 20 different people donating small amounts of money and giving recognition in that.
Yeah. Two great organizations in this community too.
Yeah.
I mean,
two
JRI.
community
Oh,
organizations.
huge community that's there. So I can't think of two entrepreneurial people too. I mean, you think of Jason Ingermanson,
Mike Berkeley.
and Mike Berkeley. I was going to say Jason and Mike. I mean, right up there with Charlie Walker of what they're doing for the community, have done for the community, what they're still doing for the community. And I mean, basically, these guys are legacy guys that we're talking of right
Well,
here.
and an interesting point is that Mike Berkeley financed the first truck wash for Charlie Walker.
That's right. I remember that story. He walked in there and he gave him the money for the first one.
Yeah.
So all really good stuff.
Yeah.
So let's give the dates again of when it's going to be. So let's talk about, again, the thing that's going to be out at, is it K-State, Salina?
Yes.
And what day is
at
that?
the end of this month, February 28th, Tuesday from 5:30 to 7, we will do a How to Pitch Your Business workshop. And that's something that you can get onto the Chamber Facebook page, and we'll share that URL. It's really, really long. But you can register for that, or you can just call the Chamber office and we'll get you information. But that's on the 28th. And then March 10th is the deadline to submit online your business plan and your video. And then on that following Monday, which would be the 12th, we are going to announce who is the top 10.
So March 12th?
let's
Or
see,
no.
10, 11, 12, 13th. I'm sorry.
13th.
Yeah, I got to do my math right.
So then everybody would know the March 13th, whether they're in there.
Exactly.
And then the date for the pitch?
And then the date for the pitch is going to be Friday, March 24th, held at Peters Science Hall at Kansas Wesleyan University at 6 p.m. We are inviting the general public out to that. A lot of times those who are competing have their family, their friends coming out, but we definitely invite the community to come out as well, support these entrepreneurs. It is really scary to get up there, but when you've got people who've got good positive energy cheering for you, I think it makes it a lot easier. So
Yeah. And then $16,000 total prize money.
Right.
And then give me the breakdown of that so
All
people
right,
know.
so I'm going to pull this up on my phone because so last year we did that total and we gave out 3 prizes. And so it was 8, 5, and 3, I believe. This year we decided to spread the wealth a little bit more. So we've got top 5 prizes, with the first place getting $7,500, second place getting $4,500, third place getting $3,000, fourth place at $2,000, and then fifth place will still walk away with $1,000 cash prize.
Nice. Because even an influx of cash of $1,000 to some of these guys who are starting their company is a big deal.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
it's a huge deal for them on whatever they're getting started. So I like that idea. I like the change of that. That's
Yeah.
really pretty good. And then the other thing I was thinking about this morning while I was preparing for this podcast was, like, people need to understand, like, even if you lose, like, even if you're not the top 5, but you made it to the top 10,
Right.
it's like, how many times have we had to lose? I mean, John, you're an entrepreneur yourself and all the business you ran. It's like, I haven't won. I know this is a shocker to you, but I have not won everything I've ever set out to do. No, I know it's a shocker.
Right.
But every time I learn something from that, and I think that's what we want to bring to them that
Absolutely.
night on the pitch challenge, is just saying, look, you're going to learn so much just doing like you said, what they learn about their business, even putting a plan together and coming forth and getting that all done.
Right.
They're going to learn so much about their business, and even if they don't, they can come back. I guess up until their business is only 3 years old, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If they don't win, they can come back the next year. The only people who are excluded are those who've already won a cash prize.
Okay. And do we know how that business is doing? Who won last year? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah,
who
no, that's
won?
fine. So last year, Joyful Noise Studios won, and they are doing very well. They've grown their business, and they're looking at buying a property to be able to move into. And so we're really excited for them. This is a place that teaches kind of kinder music, but also music lessons, and they've really branched out and opened up to what they're able to provide and teach in terms of music education for not only little tiny itty bitty toddlers, but all the way up through teenagers and even adults.
Great.
Yeah.
That's
So
good that it went to good use, that you can see that progression go on.
It's been really fun
Yeah.
to watch them grow. And even our second place winner is Kids Creative Corners downtown. And if you've watched them kind of grow in that space, they're going to start a summer camp so it's really been fun to watch everybody that's gone through that
What
grow
a
their
great-
business.
I mean, I just get goosebumps thinking about all of that's going to help out. John, before we end here, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just excited to start reading the what's the word I'm looking for?
The business plans.
The business
Yep.
plans and the
Being a judge.
the videos and all that.
Yeah.
That was, every time we got a notification there was a new one, it was just fun to pull it up and go through it, see the ideas that people have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got to narrow it down from there. So any last
Exactly.
words you want to tell anybody who's watching this video who thinks they're going to apply for it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, if you have questions, reach out to us at the chamber. I'm definitely taking phone calls and answering questions of people who still are trying to get their head around it, because we want to help and we want to support and we want to really encourage you to do this, because again, even if you don't win, it's a great step in sort of getting yourself out there and getting into sort of that mindset of being an entrepreneur.
You could contact Renee at the Chamber of Commerce and just say you want to ask about the Charlie Walker Pitch Challenge.
Yep.
They'll put you in touch with her, and then
Excellent.
and if you're watching this on our YouTube channel and or Facebook or Instagram, and you know of somebody in our community who is starting a business or even has an idea, it doesn't even have to be an actual. Does it have to be an actual?
It does not have to. It just has to be an idea.
Just an idea.
Get it
I
on
like that.
paper and get it the application in.
So it could be just an idea, or if you've been in the business for 3 years or less, let them know about it. Call Renee Duxler down at the Chamber of Commerce building, and she'll get you set up. So anyway, thank you guys for coming on the Community Leader Podcast. And again, I can't thank you enough for what you've done. I know Charlie Walker, if he was in this room, would be so proud of you putting this together. I'm so excited for the Walker family, and I'm glad to continue to see Charlie Walker's name in our community, and money being spent. And he wouldn't want to spend anywhere else other than for people who are entrepreneurs who have nothing and starting a business today. So once again, thank you guys for coming, and we'll
you.
see you at the event.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Todd.
Yep, thank you.